everyone, for those of you that are new here, my name is Catherine. I'm a sophomore at USC studying business. To give you a little background on kind of my educational stuff, because this will be more about how I approach and kind of tackle schoolwork. I have been putting off a study routine or a study hacks video for so long just because I didn't think I really had any sort of set, specific, unique approach to studying. But it has been so highly requested, and Wells Fargo approached me and wanted to do a hashtag Get College Ready series, so I thought these would be a perfect blend of the two. I am not saying that any of these hacks are going to lead you to perfect grades. They're more of just something that'll kick you into studying gear and get you more motivated to do your work. This is actually the third video in my Wells Fargo series, so check out the other two. They'll be linked down below as well as up here. Definitely follow their social media and everything in the description box as well. I know you all have some great ways that you study, so as I go through the ways I figured out that I study best, leave all of your best study hacks down below. I want this to be sort of like a composite of the best study approaches. Definitely hashtag those tips with hashtag Get College Ready, and I will be screening through those and looking for the best ones, and I will send you some very special surprises. So please, it can't hurt, leave all your tips down below and you might be in for a treat. I'm going to go through my tips in the order of most external to most internal, so the things you can change about the environment you're studying in, and then the things that you can change about the way you're studying. So my first hack would be to change up your location. Whether you're in high school or middle school right now, or you're in college, I'm sure there are many different locations to study, not just your room, but even just changing to the living room, maybe changing to a local library or different spots on campus. There are so many places that you can find to do different types of work. It's not much more than just a trial and error process, but I've become keenly aware of my best spots for reading, for writing, for math. If you try out a new spot and you find that you're not being productive and you really can't focus, just shift your location a little bit. So if you're studying on your bed in your room, shift to your desk. If you're studying in the bottom floor of the library, go to the top floor. Just change something a little bit. Find the places that you actually can get to work. Those will help you certainly get into the right mindset. Hack number 2, I know it's pretty controversial whether or not you should study with music, and I think most of the results say that you are not good at multitasking and that you should study without music, but I honestly would not do any work if it weren't for music. I just need it, so I know it might be decreasing my level of attention, but I just need it at a bare minimum to do any work whatsoever. So again, if you're not focusing or studying, you can always switch up your music playlists. Some of my go-tos that I suggest to all of you would be, first of all, a Pandora movie soundtrack playlist. Movie soundtracks have no words, but they're always very eventful and they have a really pretty melody and kind of theme going throughout them, so they can be really encouraging. I always recommend the Disneyland Main Street loop. It's like an hour of the music they just play on Main Street, which also doesn't have any words, so it's just nice to kind of keep you going, but you can always find jazz you like, or maybe like classical, and you can always switch between them if you find that one doesn't certainly fit your mood. Like usually if I'm doing math, I can probably listen to things with words, but if I'm reading or writing, there's no way. I can't deal with the lyrics. I just have to do stuff without them. My third hack is more of a technique for actually studying. I'm sure you're all familiar with Quizlet, but I think it's really underused. Quizlet honestly can be used for every single class, whether it's conceptual or whether it's quiz on a reading or whether it's knowing the mathematical process behind something. I like to make Quizlets for everything. And the best part is maybe you are cramming or studying a little bit too close to the test, you don't have a lot of time to make a full Quizlet. You can always just search the title of the class in Quizlet, and I always end up finding like 10 other people's study guides. The next thing you want to do with Quizlet is to star the cards that you missed the most. This is the feature that I didn't use a lot before, but has really helped me now. So if there's a card that maybe has 3 parts of an answer on it, and you always get 2 consistently, but in the third one you usually forget, don't just skip over that card and assume you know most of it. Star that card and come back to it and group all the cards you aren't 100% certain on together. That way you can most effectively study that group of cards. And finally, if you really want to go above and beyond with your studying and really know the material you're studying with those Quizlet cards, don't just study with Quizlet. So definitely start with the term and the definition, and mixing those and starting with the definition and finding the term, and the term and finding the definition. But the reality is, on the test, sometimes they won't give you the term. Sometimes they'll just say, use 3 theories from the reading to define this. And in that case, you're not going to use this theory, that theory, and the other theory. You're going to just have to come up with them out of thin air. So you need to know the names of all the theories, not just from the definition. So start by making a blank review guide. Don't write anything on it. Maybe at the bare minimum, just say like, here are the 7 theories we learned in chapter 1, and then just try to get yourself to memorize what all those 7 are, because sometimes in the test situation, they'll just tell you to list them all out, and studying on a flashcard won't always get you perfectly prepared for that. Now getting more into my personal style of studying, and with that kind of above and beyond approach to Quizlet, you need to overlearn that material. It honestly can't hurt to overlearn it, first of all, but by doing those blank review sheets and studying pretty much everything, even if you think you're not going to need it, you really will do better on the test. Along with that, a good rule of thumb to hold yourself to this overlearning principle is to just assume that if you don't understand something, that something will be on the test. So assume that everything that you're looking at will be on the test, know it by heart, because honestly, the way karma works, sometimes the stuff that I don't pay attention to as much ends up being on the test. So always give the same amount of attention to those concepts. And with that, do the homework even if it doesn't count towards your grade. So I know you may not have to turn in the homework, but still treat it with the same respect that you would a piece of homework you have to turn in. Really write out all the labels for the problem, fill out all the words, maybe don't use as many abbreviations. Really do a comprehensive, thorough job on your homework if it's optional, because that will help you prepare better for the test. And finally, at the pinnacle of how to study the material, the best is this quote for Albert Einstein, and it says, "If you can't explain it simply, you don't know well enough." So if there's a concept that's really difficult and you think you understand it, but you kind of just regurgitate what's from the textbook, you need to be able to explain it in your own words and really contextualize it for yourself. Think of examples in your own life or tangible examples you can refer to. And if you really want to be as prepared for the test as possible, explain the concept to someone else. The tests I did the best on were the ones that I was kind of like a tutor to my study group, and I really fleshed out the entire idea. That, by explaining it in your own words and repeating it out loud to someone and having to think of different ways to relate it to them, it really does solidify the information the best in your head. And with that concludes all the best ways I have found to study. Those are tried and tested. But please let me know down below and let everyone else know what you find to be the best way to study, what you do that isn't just standard studying. Definitely leave that down below with the hashtag #GetCollegeReady. I'll make sure to look through all of those. But thank you so much for tuning into this Get College Ready series. If you haven't watched the full 3 videos, definitely do so. It has been a ton of fun working with Wells Fargo and doing this sort of collaboration, and I of course will have more college related videos on my channel for you all. So if you liked my tips or want to hear what else I'm going to say, definitely subscribe down below. I also do weekly college vlogs on my vlog channel if you want to see kind of like what a week in the life at USC is like. But as always, thank you all for watching. I'll see you all next time, and Katherout.